Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel on human design. Today I want to look at the theme of fear versus trust. And fear is something that is getting more and more out there in the world. It is spreading like wildfire. And part of that reason is that the trust level in our governments, in our health service, in our judiciary, has gone or has certainly been diminished through what's been going on over the last 3 years. There is more distrust for the governments around the world than there has ever been. We live in very uncertain times. Things are happening all around us, all over the world, that are unexpected. And what does fear bring? It can either bring a constriction and a freezing, where you just are so scared you don't do anything. But what it also brings is an intensity. It brings a elevation in whatever is going on. So, for example, if we look at the spleen, the elevation will be in the awareness of what's around you if your survival is threatened. So imagine you're out there in Peru and suddenly you hear the roar of a mountain lion. Immediately, the fear is there. And it's a fear of awareness. Where can you get to where you can be sheltered, where you can be protected? What is necessary for you to survive? Your awareness is at full peak at that point because your life is in danger. And in that sense, fear is a good thing. It gives you a better chance of surviving because it makes you more alert. If we take the spleen in the 18th gate, the fear of authority, or the fear that authority doesn't know what it's doing. Well, I think it's a pretty healthy fear given what's going on at the moment. But does that mean that you don't trust anybody? Think about it. Think about what trust is. If fear is an elevation of awareness in the spleen, if it's something that is highly energized wherever it is, in human design, we talk about the fear being in the spleen, in the solar plexus, and in the ajna, because it's to do with awareness. So fear can be healthy when it's to do with survival. It can be a wisdom when it comes to the open solar plex and the fear of emotional confrontation. That fear can get you ready to confront correctly. It can prepare you. It can give you that energy you need to establish your boundaries, as an example, or to say what is deep within you that you're frightened of saying, opening yourself up to love in a way that is scary for you. It gives you that extra boost. However, we don't want to be living in fear all the time. And as I said, because trust has gone down around the world, fear has gone up. So let's look at trust. Now, trust is something that is linked to the 6th line. I'm not talking about naive trust. I'm not talking about trusting everybody. I think that's a kind of misplaced trust. No, if you look at the 6th line, what is it? It's something that's mutative. It's a transition from the 3rd line to the 6th line. The experiential process all 6 lines have to go through in order to establish their objectivity and then to establish their ability to be themselves, to be the role models. So what I'm saying is trust has to be earned. You have to go through an experiential process before trust is there. I have 7 6 lines in me, and I give people a long rope to hang themselves to see what is in them, whether I can truly trust them or not. And if they earn my trust, I will trust them. And in trusting them, the fear dissipates. But I'm not talking about trust just in terms of who you trust on the outside. I'm talking about trust on the inside also. I've been in human design now for more than 25 years, and I've seen the development of trust. I've seen the development of 6 line clients and friends. I've seen the trust change in me through my experiences. So what can you trust on the inside? Well, you can trust your strategy and authority, but you can't trust an untested strategy and authority, because you'll be trusting a mental idea of what's correct for you, which is what usually happens when people first come into human design. My authority is this, and my authority tells me this. You know, you've got to go through the experiment before you can truly trust your strategy and authority again and again and again and again. And then you see the results. And what you see is a letting go, a releasing from the grip of fear, because you can trust your strategy and authority. It is something that ties directly to what is reliable and fixed in you, all that color in your chart, what is always there in terms of the life force, in terms of the centers. This is you. By trusting your strategy and authority, you can see it comes out. You can see that it works. So let's take another example. Let's take the ajna. And let's say someone has the 11th gate, maybe the 1156. So they have the full channel, they have a fixed ajna, and they have this anxiety, this fear in the ajna we call anxiety. And the anxiety is that people aren't going to believe their ideas. They've got such great ideas and they just want people to believe them. And if they come from fear, those ideas aren't going to flow in the way that they can to bring people into the experience of what the ideas could lead to. Instead, it just comes out as something too wacky, something not relevant. It's a channel that needs to be invited. So if you're trying to share your ideas with someone who doesn't want to know, well, then they're not going to pay attention. And they don't like to have you speaking at them. So they're not going to be a good audience for you. You're not going to be allowed to share your ideas in the way that you really want to, with all that emphasis, with all that energy that can come through you. Does that mean you constrict and stay in the fear that nobody ever wants to know your ideas? No, it needs to be invited out. You're just trying to express your ideas to someone who isn't open to them. There are other people. There are other platforms. There are other ways. But you're not going to get there by thinking about it. You're going to get there through your strategy and authority. As a projector, the door's opening for you because people really do want to hear those ideas. Or as a generator, you respond to something and you find yourself around people that really do want to know what you have to say. So fear is something that will constrict. Trust is something that can release you from that grip of fear. But it's trust in your own inner authority that is the most reliable. In all my years of doing human design, mainly I've met people that have been deeply conditioned through the open centers, but not always. There have been rare examples when I have met people that are living their design to the best of my ability to see them living their design. And invariably, they are people that have been really loved when they were children, that they could always trust the love of their parents, that they could trust that they would be protected, that they would be safe. And from that beginning of trust and love, you find these people automatically being in tune with who they are, being confident in the way they express their ideas and the way they move through life, because they've had that support earlier on. Now, the majority of people, I'm sad to say, don't have such a background, not in this world at this time. However, we can find our way back to that in being able to trust the people that you're around because they've proven their trust. You learning to trust your strategy and authority through the experience of moving through your life with less resistance as a result of it. These are the things that we can hold on to. We live in very uncertain times. That much is clear. But you don't have to fear all the things that are going on the outside. You know, you need to be aware of them. But you also need to have something in you that you can trust. After all, it's one step at a time. Each correct decision leads you into a better place for yourself. In trusting yourself, you become more loving. You open people up to be able to be trustworthy. The fear can get in the way, and the fear will shut you off from the life that you can lead. So trust is necessary, and it is something that can be found even in these times. In fact, I would say even more so, that people are finding, because a lot of people find themselves in the same boat with the same pressures coming at them. There is more of a connectivity now with the people. People are coming together. And if I think about hope, one of the things that I see good reason to have hope is that I do see people coming together as fellow human beings. Because I trust my strategy and authority, I'm not afraid of the uncertainty that's coming into the world, because I know I'm going to be making the decisions for myself in the way that I always have done. And that'll either work or not work. I mean, I am a third line. It's not that being correct leads you into a perfect life. You know, I'm here to learn through trial and error what works. I'm here to find out what doesn't work. I'm here to learn from it. I'm here to find the foundations based on my experience to lead my life. If ever there was a time when people needed to wake up, this is the time when I make decisive decisions about my future. You know, I'll be investigating at all the different things, but when I have that response, okay, I'm going to do this, then I do it, then that's it. I trust that. You know, whatever happens after that, the moment of my decision making sets what I do. And so far, so good. So in this transitionary time that is creating a lot of difficulty for a lot of people, it shows us that blind trust now is out of the window, but authentic trust, trust from what your strategy and authority is telling you, what your experience is telling you, that becomes stronger than ever. We are moving into a time of a 6-line theme. It is going to be who we trust, what is authentic in the life around us that really matters. Ra talked about us going into a time of wolves and sheep. We're moving into that time of wolves and sheep. It is this time that we need to trust ourselves and to have those around us who have proven trustworthy to us. And that's it. For me, it's a bit like a trust circle. Those people around me that I trust, and they've proven their trust again and again. Now the circle can grow, and it can link to other trusted people and groups, a step at a time. Trust doesn't limit us from anything that is good. Trust can protect us against the rising fear in the background energy field now. It's time to wake up. It's time to really run the experiment. It's time to come back home to what is really reliable in your life. For those of you who don't know what your strategy and authority is, and you want to have more information on your design, there is a link in the descriptions below to a free report. It's about 50 pages that you can download from my website. All right, I will see you again very soon with something completely different. Bye for now.